Let us spin the wheel for the next deck. Domain Zoo. All right, so this is Domain Zoo. It is a all 5 color deck that is using the various land types to enable basic land type matters cards like Wild Nacatl, which can be a 1 mana 3/3, Territorial Kavu, which is a 2 mana 5/5, Scion of Draco, which only costs 2 mana when you have all 5 colors, and Tribal Flames, which deals X damage equal to your basic land types, and Nishoba Brawler, which is as large in power as your basic land types. And then the rest of the deck is various aggro stuff. Ragavan, 2 copies of Tarmogoyf for Nishoba Brawler, depending on how many you're playing of each of those. 1 Migloz, Leyline Binding, Stubborn Denial, and Dromoka's Command. And then sideboard is typical sideboard stuff. Chain to the Rocks, Rest in Peace, Fluster Storm, Tear Asunder, Natural State, Teferi, Hidetsugu, Consumes All, and Gigantha. All right, round 1 on the draw with Domain Zoo. Reveal Gigantha. We have a basic plains, and that is it, so we will be mulling this hand. Opponent mulls to 6, we mull. All right, we can keep this and then ship back a land. Put this back, done. Basic plains, Esper Sentinel. All right, that's going to be pretty useless against us. I like that. Fetch, Temple Garden. Shock this in, play Wild Nacatl. Go ahead. And Plains Esper Sentinel means it's in all likelihood hammer time. Cast Stoneforge Mystic. Yep. Goes and finds Cauldra. All right, so we have to kill this now. So, yes. So then fetch land, and then let's just attack. All right, fetch, Steam Vents, shock that in. And then I'm just going to bolt this now. Pay for Esper Sentinel. They take 3 down to 17, pass the turn. Plays another Esper Sentinel. Plays Hammer. All right, that's not a good sign. No blocks on the Sentinel. Go to 13. We're taking a lot of damage off of our lands. Goyf, Drake, we can play any of these. We can only play Draco if we fetch a Triome or another land type. So it's probably best to go... Oh, what does this give? Trample to green, right? Trample to green. I probably need to dig for more cards with Kavu next turn, and Kavu's the biggest creature out of any of these. So let's go attack, play Kavu, play fetch land. All right, swing, and then play Kavu, then play a land and pass. All right, Sunbaked Canyon. Oh, okay, they're just forge anew so they can move the hammer onto their guy now. Yeah, no blocks. So let's just fetch now. We need black mana. So Savai Triome is probably the best one. Or no, I guess we need double green if we're going to use Dromoka's command. I guess that barely matters. All right, get that, and then we go to 1. Okay, so I want to attack with the Kavu so I can loot. And then I have the potential to play, and then I need to play 2 creatures, and I'll have to block both of them because they can move this at instant speed, right? Yeah. So which one is better, I guess, to lose? I guess Goyf. So combat, swing with this, discard a card, and then what am I ditching? I assume they won't block this, so they'll go to 8. So we need Tribal Flames in order to burn them out. So I'm going to discard Goyf. All right, there's Bolt. Oh no, we need another red source. All right, so I guess what I can do is what? Bolt this, they draw 2 cards. I'm definitely playing a land. I'm definitely playing Scion of Draco. And so they'll attack. I have to block both of them. One of my creatures will die. It'll be Scion because they want to get rid of the biggest creature. And then I can bolt them and then Tribal Flames them. I think that is the plan. All right, pass the turn. So I needed to fetch Savai Triome last turn. Hammer. And now they have 2 different Esper Sentinels with hammers on them. I block both of them. All right, opponent goes to combat. Block here, block here. Then I'll bolt this in response. Yes, he gets to draw 2 cards, but that's fine. All right, so the hammer fails. We get to keep our Scion. Then this Nacatl dies. And now we have lethal with 2 creatures and Tribal Flames. Urza's Saga. Opponent plays Nettle Cyst. Good, they tapped out. So now we have it. All right, attack, swing, swing. I guess there's no reason to swing with this, right? Just swing with Scion. And then Tribal Flames our opponent to death. All right, begin sideboarding. Definitely want Hidetsugus. We definitely want Tear Asunder. We definitely want Chain to the Rocks. We definitely want Natural State. And we probably want Teferi, but let's just look over what we have. So we can Stubborn Denial stuff, which is pretty good. Tribal Flames is fine. What does Dromoka's command do exactly? Target player sacks an enchantment, so we can make them sack Urza's Saga, and we can fight stuff, so we don't want to get rid of that, and we don't want to get rid of Leyline Binding. Migloz also kills artifacts and enchantments, although it's very expensive to do so. So Ragavan's probably terrible. They always have blockers for it. Tarmogoyf's also pretty slow. So this matchup is just all interact with them and, you know, just kill everything they play, basically. So what is another 2 cuts we can make? Probably in a Coddle, actually. It's also not even big enough to turn Stubborn Denial on. Do I want to Fairy? I think this is fine. Let's run this. Reveal Gigantha. All right, well, we have 2 Terra Sunders binding into Neshoba Brawler, so this seems great. So let's keep this. Opponent plays Springleaf Drum and then does nothing. All right, well, we're just going to Wooded, fetch Zagoth Triome, and then play Sacred Foundry and do something. Opponent plays Stoneforge, gets Cauldra, so we need to hit this. Taps for Shadow Spear. All right, fetch Zagoth, take our turn. So we don't necessarily have to kill Stoneforge because we do have Terra Sunder, but if they Stoneforge in Cauldra and then have any protection for it, then we do. So it's probably better to just bind this now. Yeah, Shock, cast Leyline Binding, hit this. It also prevents them from having an active creature for Springleaf Drum as well, if that's important. And then next turn, we get to have Binding plus another play. All right, Inkmoth, animate Inkmoth, sure. Animate the other Inkmoth with the Inkmoth you just animated, okay. How many decks are left on the wheel? 50. Land, and then what's the best move here? Just Neshoba Brawler and then hold up Binding? Yeah, Neshoba or Scion. I guess Neshoba's better. So let's fetch Shock a white land, and then let's play Neshoba. All right, pass back, holding up Leyline Binding. Plains, Giver of Runes, animate Inkmoth Nexus. Oh wait, I guess I could have played Scion to block Inkmoth. Yeah, that would have been better. Paying a bunch of mana, equip Shadow Spear. Sure. All right, we take 2 Infect. That's fine. All right, cast Binding, hit Giver. All right, we have another bind. Ooh, hit at Sugus. They only have these 2 though. That's fine. Let's just attack with the Neshoba and then play Draco holding up Binding again. All right, Draco, pass the turn. All right, so far this deck is playing out better than I thought it would. Animate Inkmoth. All right, no attacks. Okay then, well, that was a thing that happened. Let's play a land and then let's just attack with both of these and then we get to hold double Terra Sunder up. Swing, swing. All right, opponent goes to 8 and is dead in 1 hit. So let's see if they have anything. Esper Sentinel. Do I tear this in response? No, I don't. Animate Inkmoth. Sure. Put Shadow Spear on that. Sure. So they're going to gain enough life, so let's just kill this. Cast, exile this, pay the Esper Sentinel ability. All right, and now they're dead. All right, we got there. Beat Hammer 2-0. All right, round 2 on the draw playing Domain Zoo. Reveal Gigantha. This hand looks fine, so we'll keep. Opponent plays Scalding Tarn and nothing. All right, just Foothills Pass. Opponent fetches. Grabs Watery Grave tapped, plays Polluted Delta. All right, fetch. So what do I want here? I want to grab probably Savai Triome so I can have these up, and then I would grab Breeding Pool with the other one. All right, Savai Triome. Well, let's just slam Kavu on the board. Yeah, let's do that. So Windswept Heath, fetch, Shock Breeding Pool in, and then cast Kavu. It resolves, pass the turn. Opponent fetches, gets a tapped Watery Grave. Fatal Push Kavu, sure. I guess I could have played Draco and that couldn't have been pushed. This was the better attacker though. I was going to have to play it at some point. All right, plays a Swamp. Well, let's just put Scion into play. Scion resolves, let's play this tapped and go. Opponent did nothing on our end step, so they play a land, still do nothing. All right, well, let's play a land and then let's just attack with Scion. Swing, no effects, they just take 4. All right, well, I can hold up all of these instants, so I guess I can just Tribal Flames them now, right? And then still hold up multiple instants. So what do I need to fetch if I'm doing that? I have to tap Savai and tap Breeding Pool. All right. Is it worth it to even Tribal Flames them right now? I'm just going to pass. Casts Otawara, bouncing it back to our hand. Sure. This doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, okay. Our opponent's hand must be absolutely terrible if they're just Otawara-ing this back. All right, well, I'm just going to fetch now. So let's fetch. I want a red source. Sacred Foundry. We have 2 whites anyway. We have a Plains. Let's grab Steam Vents tapped. All right, play Draco again, I guess. Draco, white, and this one. Opponent flashes in Subtlety. Sure. Put it back on top of our deck. I guess so? Yeah, okay. It goes back on top of our deck. I guess I'm just going to bolt this now. All right, pass the turn. So it's blue-black control. I guess it is. Opponent taps or fetches a tapped Watery Grave. Opponent plays Shieldred. All right, Leyline Binding. End of step. All right, looks like this resolves. Then we untap, play Draco again, play a fetch land, and then pass the turn. To prevent all damage, target instant or sorcery would deal this turn. Sack an enchantment, +1 counter, fight. Opponent plays the ring. Yep, okay. Would that have been a reason to just not binding Shieldred and said Tribal Flame Shieldred and then... Alright, fetch. Let's grab Sacred Foundry, I guess. Alright, well, can't do anything, so just play Goyf and pass it back. Actually, no, hang on. I should put Giganta in my hand. Activate Giganta. Alright, now pass. What are we doing? Island cycling this thing. Okay. Alright, opponent goes to 12, draws more cards with the ring, plays an island, plays Fatal Push on Goyf, plays Murktide, which is a 6/6, which is too big for Tribal Flames to kill. Alright, how do we get rid of this? Giganta and then Dramoka's Command at next turn. Tribal Flames plus Dramoka's Command. We lose 3 cards for their 1 card. Seems terrible. I guess I just play Giganta, hold up Stubborn Denial, pass the turn. Alright, pass. Flash in Orcish Bowmasters. That is fine. They shoot us, we go to 13. They make 2 1/1s. Ring triggers, they go down to 10. I'm just going to save this Stubborn to counter the ring, the second ring that they'll have to play at some point. Fetches Polluted Delta. Draws more cards with the ring. Alright, combat. They can't possibly think to attack with Murktide, right? Yeah, obviously. Ooh, Leyline Binding. Excellent. Alright, I don't want to attack into Murktide, so let's just Tribal Flames them, and then... Yeah, let's just try to Tribal Flames them. I guess we can go Tribal Flames, and then if it resolves, they're close to dead to the ring. Alright, Tribal Flames you, and pay this and this. I have to tap red, so tap red, white. Force of Negation, pitching Dress Down. They could have just cast it. Well, I don't think I'm supposed to fight over this. I'm going to stop them in their upkeep and bind the ring. Maybe I should just bind Murktide and attack. Flash in Sauron's Ransom, sure. So, arrange the cards into 2 piles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arrange the cards into piles. The top pile will be presented face up. The bottom pile will be presented face down. Okay, so this one and this one. Puts Counterspell and Flooded Strand into their hand. Well, that's awkward. Orcish Bowmasters. They're shooting us. Plays another Orcish Bowmasters. Alright, well, their shields are down. I'm going to bind this. They had another force. Exiling the island thing. Okay, so let's stub this. And then resolve Leyline Binding. And then do I want to Dramoka's Command anything? So get rid of the ring. Do I want to Dramoka's Command something? Not really. But I guess they have a Counterspell. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, they shoot us. We go to 11. And then pass back to them. They have a Counterspell in their hand as their 1 card we know about, right? Or they exiled it. No, they have Counterspell in their hand. All right, combat. Does nothing. Our turn. We have a land and can't do anything with it. So yeah, I guess we just keep passing. Back to you. Fetches Prismatic Vista. All right, neither of us can attack the other. What's the Ring Bearer do on the first one? Can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. We drew Overgrown Tomb, so we're just going to play that tapped and then pass. Sheoldred's Edict. Each opponent sacks a non-token creature. Well, yep. Sack Scion. Sure. Murktide attacks. Do I have to trade with this? And then they're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power in play? That's just terrible. But the alternative is that this kills me in 2 hits. So yeah, I guess I'm doing it. Cast this. +1 counter, fight. Choose target creature to put the +1 counter on. Choose the creature to fight. Fight this. Choose target creature you control to fight. Oh, this is my creature. This is the creature I'm fighting. All right, Dramoka's Command. All right, Force of Negation, sure. So we take 6 down to 5, and then we're going to be dead to Murktide next turn if I don't find an answer. All right, that's not an answer. Next game. So want Terra Sunder, want Teferi because they're a counterspell deck, want Flusterstorm for sure. Chain to the Rocks is also probably good. What is bad? Bolt is pretty bad. It only kills Bowmasters and nothing else. Tribal Flames is also kind of bad. I guess it kills Shieldred, but it doesn't kill anything else. Wild Nacatl is pretty weak. Okay, I don't want to keep Ragavan in against the Bowmaster deck, so Ragavan comes out. And then this is probably fine. Rest in peace for Murktide, but they have no other graveyard synergies as far as I can tell. All right, submit. On the play, game 2. Reveal Giganta. We do have a turn 2 Scion and then can stub. All right, that's fine. So I'm grabbing Savai Breeding Pool. Okay, keep, play a land, pass. Opponent plays Scalding Tarn, end step fetch, grab Savai, untap. Windswept Heath, fetch, grab Breeding Pool, shock it in, cast Scion, pass it back. Opponent fetches, Watery Grave, tapped. All right, now if this can survive the turn, then we can hold Stubborn Denial up, or just play Miglaws. They're evoking Subtlety. All right, they exiled Drown in the Loch. Well, I'll just put it right back on top then. Misty, and then passing it back to us. All right, well, play Scion again. I guess I can't hold up Stub, but I can hold up Binding. I don't need to hold up Binding this turn, though. So let's instead play Miglaws. Miglaws is vulnerable to push. Let's just play Scion. I could have held up Stubborn with the blue, but I can also hold Leyline Binding up. I'm not sure which one's better to hold up. Opponent fetches. Tapped. Plays an island. And it looks like they're just going to pass it back to us. All right. Play a land. Attack with Scion. Swing. They take 4. All right. Now I'm going to play Miglaws. So I need to hold blue up, so I'm going to fetch Shock. Sacred Foundry is probably the pick here. And then we're going to cast Miglaws. Green, red, another color. Opponent casts Sauron's Ransom. Sure. All right. You can have 3 lands or Dress Down is fine. I guess that's probably bad. Let's do these 2. Now let's do these 2. Or these 3, these 1. That has to be incorrect, right? If I just give him 2 lands on the top, he's going to pick the bottom. So, yeah, you can have all 3 lands. The top will be presented face up, sure. Okay. Which one will they take? They took the Dress Down, yeah. All right, pass. Say play an island, and then they're just passing it back to us again, I guess. All right, well, if they're just going to keep passing it back, all right, flash in, Dress Down, end step, that's perfectly fine. My creatures are the same size even if they do that. All right, go to combat. Swing, swing. Opponent takes 8 down to 6. I can just Tribal Flames them now, and it prevents them from fetching. That seems like the move. Tribal Flames, red, and then I don't need Nicodle in play, so this one. Opponent casts Counterspell, I'll stub that. All right, go to 1, opponent. Dress Down, leaves. All right, we won. On to game 3. I'm pretty sure we just keep this as is and just run it back. So their blue-black control with the ring, and then their big payoffs are Shieldred and Murktide, but they can also win with Subtlety or Orcish Bowmasters. Reveal Gigantha. All right, this hand's good. We've got turn... I can't play Wild Nicodle on turn 1 and play Scion on turn 2, so I'm probably... I don't have another turn 2 play. It's probably much better to play Scion than it is Nicodle. Yeah, so let's go fetch land and then just pass. You know what? I'm going to fetch now in case they actually have Shadow of Doubt. We've been Shadow of Doubted before. So I need to grab Savai. No, I need to grab... Yeah, Savai and then Sacred Foundry. Yeah, I want more white sources, I suppose. So I need to grab Zagoth and then Sacred Foundry. All right. All right. Take care, JS. Hope you had a good time. Opponent plays the Watery Grave tapped, eh? All right, so not exposing our stuff to Fatal Push, so let's just fetch, grab Sacred Foundry, and then cast Scion. It looks like Scion lines up very well against their removal. Yeah, they evoke Subtlety to deal with it every time. I'll put it back on top. Because their removal is Fatal Push and Drown in the Lock is what I'm guessing. Their removal is Fatal Push, Drown in the Lock, Orcish Bowmasters, so none of the removal kills it. All right, and rather than play Scion, I think I just run out to Fairy. I guess what can they do in response other than counter it? They can play Bowmasters, which would be a problem. I guess I can play Scion plus Wild Nicodle as well. Now it's just better to... what is it better to run out? Shock and Steam Vents. I guess just Scion, play Nicodle, and then pass. They just had nothing on my turn. All right, so now they're going to play the ring. Yep. And then we will, while they're tapped out, to Fairy bounce the ring back to their hand. And then all of their counter spells will be shut down unless they have Force Negation, but that's fine. All right, to Fairy, do you have Force? They do have Force. Exiling Dress Down, sure. All right, well, we can't attack them because of the ring, so pass. Ring trigger. Go to 16. Draw more cards with the ring. Untapping the ring with Minamo. Tapping the ring again. We need to draw another blue source so we can go to Fairy Flusterstorm, bounce this. That's just so bad, though. All right, play a tap land. Up to 7 freaking cards. They're casting Shieldred's Edict, sure. I get rid of Wild Nicodle. So, definitely attack. Swing. They go to 12. Do I just play Kavu and hold Flusterstorm up? Or maybe I just Tribal Flames them right now? They go to 7 and then take another 3 from the ring. The alternative is to Fairy. Like, I don't have any good options here. So let's just, yeah, Kavu and then hold up Flusterstorm. So the worst case scenario is they drop Shieldred and they gain like 1,000,000 life off this ring. Draw more cards with the ring. Go up to 11 cards. Swamp. Casts Fatal Push there, sure. They're playing another ring. Okay. Well, once again, we cannot attack them. They discard what? Sauron's Ransom. All right, well, 7 cards in hand, 1 card open, or 1 land open. I guess I try to jam to Fairy onto the field right now. Nope, they have Force Negation. All right, go ahead. Ring trigger, go to 8. Prismatic Vista, fetch to 7. Draw more cards with the ring. So they still haven't found Shieldred. Cast Unmoored Ego. Why in the world would you play Unmoored Ego against Zoo? All right, what do they think is like the worst card we could possibly hit them with? Tribal Flames, sure. So we're going to get to draw another card. Well, we drew a plains, which is not good, but I suppose we're fine. Play another ring. Still can't do anything. All right, so I guess we're doing what? Nicodle, Kavu, hold Flusterstorm up. So I have to not play this plains. I have to fetch shock. So this is the green here, and then I need to go get another green. So I already have plains in hand, so I can grab Breeding Pool. Then play Kavu, green, and red. Play Wild Nicodle, and pass the turn back. Ring, they're just not using it to draw, because now there's so many cards ahead they don't need to. Plays Fatal Push on Kavu. Yep. Plays an island. And they're just passing it back. Alright, so let's play this land. And then I guess let's attack and see what happens. Swing, swing. One Orcish Bowmasters trades with Wild Nicodle. Drown in the Loch, Wild Nicodle. Sure. Alright, please take 4 from the Scion. They've taken 4 from the Scion. I will now put our companion into hand. Alright, pass the turn. Sauron's Ransom. Oh man. So Ring, Shieldred, Ego, Jesus. I can't give them Shieldred. I can give them the ring. And then, so let's give them, like, the tempting pile here. All right. What do they pick? All right, so they picked that pile. So Shieldred and Ego go to the graveyard. All right, ring. Opponent is at 3. So they will, I assume they're just going to play the ring. So they'll draw with this ring. They'll play a new ring. All right, draw a card. Then they can Manamo this ring, draw 2 more cards. Then they can play another ring. Yep, Manamo, untap, draw 2 more, play the ring. Cast Orcish Bowmasters, sure. Shoot us, we go to 10, play a land, and then back to us. All right, well, let's fetch the basic forest, and then let's deploy Gigantha. And then let's pass it back to them and just hope that the Scion of Drake, sure. Subtlety evoked. That is fine. I'll put Gigantha on the bottom. All right, we have no attacks because the ring hit last turn, and now they fetch down to 2, get an island, ring trigger, do nothing. Playing, draw 3 cards with Lorien revealed. Okay. Looks like doing nothing. All right, well, let's see if the Scion of Draco can kill them. They must have an answer to it. We're also just drawing lands. All right, go to combat. Swing. They're just going to flash Subtlety into block. Yeah, that's fine. All right, Subtlety, blocks. Main phase 2, play a land, go. They untap. I guess they're going to attack us with the orcs now. Draw with the ring, so they need an out. This Flusterstorm's not even good anymore because they have so much mana that they can just pay for anything. Casting Sauron's Ransom. Alright, well, you can have this stuff. I guess let's put this here. No, let's put that there. So Subtlety can block us for another turn. Basically, if they get Shieldred, we're screwed, right? 1, 2, 3. Actually, no. So they go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they have enough mana to untap the ring and draw more cards. Yeah, so... And they'll draw 2 cards and go up to 6 life. And then we don't have lethal. So I need them to not have Shieldred. Alright, those are the piles. Alright, well, they took Shieldred. Yep, Shieldred. They are attacking us. Oh, there's this thing too? Oh, because they have rings now. Alright, well, I think we're just dead. I don't see any way out of this. They're about to gain 2, and then they can Manamo and gain a bunch more with the ring. Alright, fetch on end step. Grab another land. We go to our turn. Shieldred triggers. And then I attack, and it doesn't matter. They just Manamo and tap the ring, gain life. Yeah, all right. Well, the ring is a card that exists. On the play in round 3, reveal Gigantha. We have a very awkward hand. So I do have a turn 1 Ragavan, but after that, if I fetch a Shockland that can play Ragavan, I then cannot play anything else. I have to fetch Steam Vents, Ragavan, and then just like hope that Ragavan gets there, because these Dracos can't be played. And if I fetch Steam Vents, then I don't have enough mana for Leyline Binding either. Yeah, so the problem is, like, if Ragavan connects, then this hand's good. But if it doesn't... Actually, it's not even that good, even if Ragavan does connect. Yeah, let's just mull. Well, now we only have 1 land, and we're in kind of the same position. So what? Do I just fetch Stomping Ground and play... Yeah, alright. I don't want to go to 5. This hand's not great, though. Maybe I am just supposed to go to 5. Alright, let's go to 5. Well, this hand's not good either, but we're keeping it. All right, keep and then put back basic forest and steam vents. Yeah. All right, land, go. Opponent plays Windswept, fetches, get Stomping Ground, cast Delighted Halfling. Okay. Fetch into Zagoth into Sacred Foundry, probably. All right, Zagoth, fetch Sacred Foundry, cast Territorial Kavu. All right, pass to the opponent. Plays Misty. So this is in all likelihood elementals. Opponent fetches with Misty. Fetches a tapped Rogrin. Opponent is certainly taking their sweet time to figure out what to do. So if I were to guess, I would assume they just have Ren in 6 and they're debating whether to just run it out. Yeah, they're debating whether to just run it out into being killed just for the land. Oh no, they are pinging it and then evoking Fury to kill Kavu. Gotcha. Exiling another Ren in 6 from their hand. Well, now let's just play Nishoba, Wild Nacatl. How big is Goyf? 2-3? So yeah, Nishoba, Wild Nacatl. So I need another green source. So green and white, I guess. Play Nacatl, play Nishoba Brawler, and then pass it back. Ren in 6 picks a land up. They play a land. Fetch. And then if this is Omnath, I just have to ram Nishoba into Ren in 6. No, tap Zagoth. Plays another Delighted Halfling, and then just passes back. Well, alright then. I guess I'm going to play Scion first so that Wild Nacatl has Trample. Alright, Scion, then go to combat, and everything attacks Ren in 6. Alright, they have Leyline Binding. So they can bind Nishoba, and then they can just double block Nacatl, and I only get to kill one of their Delighted Halflings? Sure. Why would you only block with one? You should block with both, and then I can't kill both. And then Ren takes no damage. Alright, well, Ren takes a damage. Pass the turn. So Ren picks the land back up. They play the land. Play Teferi, and then they're going to bounce Scion back to my hand. Then fetch a tapped Breeding Pool. Alright. Oh, another land. So, alright, land, replay, Scion. And then I guess I can just force Teferi off the board. I don't care terribly about doing that, though. I just want to kill Ren in 6. Yeah, so attack Ren in 6. And then once again, they either lose Ren or they lose the Halfling. Sure. And then fetch. And what do I want? Just this land is fine. I guess another red source, so we can double red later on if we need to. So Steam Vents, and then play Tarmogoyf, and pass the turn. Plus Teferi, plus Ren in 6 to get more land back, play the land. Fury screws us pretty hard here if they play that. I guess they're not. So they also play Solitude. We have Stubborn Denial, but that's not going to stop Solitude. So, oh, I can't even Stubborn with Teferi on the board anyway. All right, so what are the attacks here? The attacks are definitely need to kill Ren in 6 and definitely need to kill Teferi. So if they play Solitude, the most likely thing they're going to do is they're going to exile Draco and then they're going to block Wild Nacatl to trade, which means that the only card that's actually going to get through is Tarmogoyf. So Tarmogoyf attacks Teferi, and then the other two attack Ren in 6. All right, let's see what happens. Fetch. Steam Vents tapped. Okay, so they're not playing Solitude. They just don't have anything? They just didn't have anything. All right, well, oh, I should have put Giganta in my hand. They play a land, and then just pass back to us. All right, well, just put pressure on. Keep attacking. Attack with everything. Leyline Binding. All right, let's just counter that. They go to 1. So I guess I just commit more to the board now. Pass the turn. Right, they're at 1. They can't fetch. They have to draw probably Omnath to get out of this. Or the ring. All right, we won. Okay, elementals. I want Terra Sunder to kill the ring and to kill Leyline Binding. Chain to the Rocks seems very bad when they have Leyline Binding, so if I chain anything, they can just bind it back. Rest in Peace is okay to stop Ren in 6, but again, not really the axis you want to fight on. And Teferi's good, I suppose. So bring that in. Migloz is still good. Bolt kills the Halflings, but that's it. Ragavan on the draw is bad, so we will cut that. All right, submit. Reveal Giganta. We have no lands, so we will be mulling. All right, mulligan. This is keepable. Yeah, this is keepable. So keep. What am I throwing back? One of the lands. So I'm going fetch, shock, in a green land. I'm fetching Breeding Pool first, and then putting Wild Nacatl into play. So throw back Steam Vents. All right, done. Opponent plays a land, passes. Well, I actually probably need to have binding and whatnot up for next turn in order to get rid of Ren in 6 if they play it. So let's just play Savai and pass. Opponent fetches on end step, grabs Rogrin Triome, plays Misty, cracks Misty. So they're almost certainly just going to play Ren in 6 and then I'll Tribal Flames it. Breeding Pool, tap for Ren in 6, they'll pick a land back up. All right, fetch, grab Breeding Pool, shock this in, Tribal Flames Ren in 6, pass the turn. Opponent Misty, fetches, gets Temple Garden, shocks it in, cast Teferi, that's fine. Plus is Teferi. All right, so we're just going to Tribal Flames that as well. All right, Plains, Tribal Flames, play Nacatl, pass the turn. And see, that's why you just almost always tick Teferi down immediately so that you just get a card out of it. All right, they have nothing on 4. Well, let's attack. Swing. They are doing nothing, it seems. All right, they take 3, go to 10. So then we'll play Kavu and hold up Leyline Binding. All right, Kavu resolves. Go ahead. They just had nothing to do on turn 4. All right, another land. Fetch. Finding a forest. They don't have domain mana either. All right, so probably it's just going to be Solitude then. All right, well, swing with the both of these. So if Solitude comes down, eats Territorial Kavu, we bolt it before it blocks, or we bind it before it blocks. All right, swing, swing. Well, they're not doing it before attacks, so what am I discarding? Probably Dramoka's command. That gets rid of their lane line bindings. It's the most expensive card in the hand, is the issue. And our bindings can hit their bindings, so it doesn't really matter. We're dealing 8 here if they don't do anything. I don't have to discard. I guess I'm just going to exile a land out of their graveyard. All right, what you got? Yeah, it has Solitude, comes down, exiling Kavu, of course. And then I'm going to bind it before it blocks. So that resolves, and then take 3, go to 6. All right, pass the turn. So they played Elish Norn. Huh. So our bindings don't work anymore. Okay. I guess I'm just bolting their face. All right, bolt your face. So I can do what? Attack, they block, and then I go like Dramoka's, we fight, and I lose both of them, but at least Elish Norn's off the field. That's probably the correct play. So attack, they have to block, and then we go Dramoka's. Oh no, because if I fight with them, then Wild Nacatl dies before anything else happens. So, All right, I guess I just put Gigantha in hand then. Pass the turn. So they played a land, so they still don't have Omnath. All right, they're just going to pass it back to us. No, or sorry, they're attacking, obviously. Yeah, so no blocks, we go to 18. All right, well, we drew another land, so let's play Gigantha. So fetch, I want another red source. So Shock and Sacred Foundry. Then just play Gigantha. And pass the turn. Opponent has binding and binds both of them. All right, that's actually fine because now I can Dramoka's to get rid of this. Oh no, they're hitting our binding. Oh, right. All right, so they should have just bindinged just the binding, and then Solitude would have hit both of them. All right, so now we're taking 7 down to 11, and they're going up to 6. And now they play the One Ring, and I can't target them with this until their turn. Draw a card, sure. All right, Stubborn Denial is good, so let's pass it back, and then we're just going to Dramoka's, get our binding, get our stuff back, block Gigantha on Solitude. Yeah. Opponent fetches to 5, gets Sacred Foundry tapped, untaps, takes another damage from the ring down to 4, goes to combat, swings with both. So now Dramoka's, can I choose not to do this? Yeah, target player sacks, oh no, I have to? Target player sacks an enchantment, put a +1 counter on target creature. So I have to do this? All right, well then, cast this, and then I want them to gain less life, so I guess I'm going to put the counter on Norn. Cast Dramoka's. All right, and then we put Gigantha on Solitude. Gigantha here. Maybe I'm just supposed to put the counter here so it dies anyway so that Norn can't attack anymore. I just feel like I can't win as long as Norn's in play. I basically need to die for them to die to the ring, which is going to take many turns to do. Opponent plays Fury, and now Gigantha's going to die. Yep. All right, well, we're literally dead next turn if we don't draw something to get out of this. Shober Brawler is not going to cut it because I can only block 1 creature. Yep. All right. Back to the sideboard. So Ragavan is probably still bad. They have they're a Renin 6 deck. They have Delighted Halfling on turn 1. The only way it's good is if we have Ragavan plus Stubborn Denial. Maybe it's fine to high roll this. And then what do I cut? Bolt, Wild Nacatl. Wild Nacatl's pretty weak. Goyf is also pretty weak. Chain to the Rocks. When it enters, exile a creature. I guess I have bindings anyway, so maybe this is correct. Nah. Let's just go with this, I suppose. All right, submit. On the play, reveal Gigantha. We have a bunch of power. I guess we're okay with that. So keep this, and then we need to fetch a green. So let's go fetch Temple Garden, cast Nacatl, pass the turn. The next turn we go Shock, Steam Vents, play Kavu, and then we can get the last land on the third land. Tap Zagoth, go. All right, Shock and Steam Vents, play Kavu, attack. All right, opponent down to 17. They play Misty, fetch with Misty, Shock and Temple Garden. So they're not playing Renin 6. They're just going to play Leyline Binding and then bind away Kavu. Sure. All right, so Zagoth is the finisher. So attack with Nacatl and then play Kavu. Actually, I might want to cycle this away in my hand, so I should just play Windswept Heath and then hold this to fetch Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, let's do that. Plays a Flooded Strand. Evokes Fury. All right, dealing 4 here. I'll fetch in response. Grabbing, I guess, Savai Triome. Yeah. And then if they want to kill it off, they have to go Ren ping it. All right, they conceded to that. On to round number 4. All right, round 4 on the draw, playing Zoo. reveal Giganta. We have 3 lands. We can go turn 1. It's a little bit awkward because we have to go what? This needs to be Sacred Foundry, basically. So if we go turn 1, Breeding Pool, this... Okay, that's fine. So we go Breeding Pool, Coddle, Windswept Heath fetches Sacred Foundry, and then we can play Kavu. And then next turn, Overgrown Tomb gets the last color. Scalding Tarn. It is so awkward to play this as a 1/1, though. It just dies to pinging. What's the alternative? I get Stomping Ground, and then these are weaker. All right. Breeding Pool, play Nacatl. Go ahead. Opponent fetches, grabs Basic Mountain, bolts it. Sure. Oh, we're playing against Burn. All right. Roiling Vortex. Sure. Ooh, Ragavan. But we're just going to play Kavu. So, all right. Fetch, Shock, unfortunately. Sacred Foundry. Then play this. Go ahead. I think I can race them faster than they can race me. So they take 1 down to 18. I can also Binding this at some point. All right. 13. I have to play this tapped, unfortunately. I could dash Ragavan, but then that's susceptible to getting killed. I probably just want to put more out. So let's go. Do I play this Shocked and then put more power on the board? I might actually have to do that, right? I go Shock down to 11. I think I just have to race them. So Shock down to 11 and attack with the Kavu. And then I'm going to discard Goyf because it's the worst card in the hand. Discard Goyf, drawing a Foothills, sure. Opponent takes 5 down to 13. And then we go Kavu. All right, they're Boros Charming us to 7. And play Wild Nacatl. And then if we survive the turn, we can kill them. So it's just a matter of can we survive the turn. They fetch with Bloodstained. They Shock. They fetch with... Do they have double Searing Blaze or something? Like, what is with all the fetching? All right, Lightning heals us to 4, and then they just have another 1 damage burn, right? Yeah, or 3 damage burn. All right, game 2. What do I want? Just because they have Roiling Vortex in their deck doesn't mean I want enchantment removal. I definitely want Flusterstorm. And Migloz is slow. And what else? Neshoba Brawler dies to Blaze and Bolt. So it's the worst 2-drop out of them, even though it has more power than Goyf by a lot. It is actually going to come down to racing most of the time, so we probably just cut Goyf. And then what else? I don't really want Teferi. It stops Rift Bolt, but that's it. All right, that's fine. Run it back. So we have a very painful mana base that we have to shock in a lot, which is unfortunate against Burn. What is fortunate is that we have 1 mana counter spells and Dramoka's Command, which prevents damage from instants and sorceries. All right, game 2 on the play. Reveal Giganta. We only have 1 land, and it's a forest, so we're going to mull. All right, better. So we do what? We fetch Steam Vents and play Ragavan? Yeah. What do I put back? It has to be a land. So the Overgrown Tomb. No, it can't be. It has to be the forest. All right. So fetch Shock Steam Vents. Play Ragavan. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Sunbaked Canyon. Plays Swift Spear. Yeah, okay. So they're not going to try to race us. So let's just bolt this. Swing with Ragavan. Trigger Ragavan. What do we get? Swift Spear. Yeah, I guess I'll cast Swift Spear. So, is that correct? The other way is I shock this in and play Brawler. Yeah, this has to be correct. So cast Swift Spear, put this in tapped, go. Play Sacred Foundry, shock. Play Searing Blaze on Ragavan. Okay. Well, land, and then I'm going to fetch Basic Plains. All right, now we have Domain, and then we can go Brawler, hold up Stubbs, swing with Swift Spear, play a Mountain. They're casting Blaze. All right, so counter that. All right, counter Searing Blaze. They exile Rift Bolt. So if I bolt them right now, they go to 9, and then they take 8 and go to 1. Bolt you, resolve Bolt, cast Draco, then attack with both. Oh, so, no, 2. I miscounted. All right, so they go to 2. But then we're at 13, they're at 2, and things are looking pretty well. Rift Bolt Scion. Well, if they're Rift Bolting Scion, they've got to have another spell that they're going to use to kill Scion. Nope, they've conceded. All right, does this change on the draw? I don't think so. Maybe Chain to the Rocks becomes better to eat their early creatures, which makes taking out Goyf and just play 1. Ragavan is also worse on the draw, so maybe, yeah, run Ragavan when chained. All right, submit. Game 3 on the draw against Burn, playing Zoo. Reveal Giganta. We have, yeah, this hand's fine. It has Dramoka's Command, which also makes it a lot nicer. So keep, plays Goblin Guide, attacks us. It is so awkward that we have to play Nacatl as... All right, so if I fetch... Let's say I go fetch Overgrown Tomb. No, I need to fetch a Stomping Ground or something in order to play Nacatl. I need this to be a 2/2 so that they have to trade the Goblin Guide or bolt it away. But I need black mana for Scion of Draco. I need... Oh, man, this is so rough. So if I hit Stomping Ground or Temple Garden, I probably want Stomping Ground. Oh, does this deck not have a Stomping Ground? Okay, so it's going to be Temple Garden. Any which way you look at it, it's rough. What if I just grab a forest and then shock in Sacred Foundry next turn and play Brawler? No option is good. All right, I can play Breeding Pool. It comes in as a 1/1, which is fine. And then next turn, Sacred Foundry, play Brawler or Dramoka's Command. Okay, let's do that. So shock Breeding Pool in, play Wild Nacatl. Go ahead. They fetch a land. If it gets Searing Blazed, then it would have gotten blazed regardless of what I did. All right, Searing Blaze. We go to 13. Goblin Guide puts us to 11. This is so rough. We at least drew a land off of that. All right, another Nacatl. So I think I unfortunately just have to put Brawler into play. And it's also 3 toughness, which is not good. The alternative is to do what? Fetch a Temple Garden, play Wild Nacatl as a 2/2 and hold up Stubborn Denial, which doesn't even work that well. All right, shock this in, play Brawler, pass the turn. I just need to stabilize and then be able to hold up Dramoka's and Stubborn. No, they bolt it. All right. And they play another Goblin Guide. Rough. Rift Bolt exiled. So bolt. So what am I doing here? I can't play Draco without fetch shocking. So I can play Nacatl to block. I can bolt the other Goblin. No, because they're going to Rift Bolt, kill Nacatl. And then I bolt the other Goblin. It's just all kinds of rough. Okay, so let's say I go Forest, or I play Wild Nacatl, have a Forest. Then they go untap Rift Bolt. They'll either do me or Nacatl. And then I go Dramoka's Command, prevent the damage, fight. That's probably the best option. So if I'm doing that, I have to go fetch a basic Forest. So grab a basic Forest, play Nacatl, and then pass it back to them and do Dramoka's in response to Rift Bolt. All right, so that resolves. It's unsuspends. They're shooting me. Okay, so Dramoka's Command, prevent all the damage, and fight. Choose this one, choose the creature you control, choose the creature the opponent controls. Dramoka's. They have the instant response. Skull Crack. All right, we go to 1. Then this resolves. Oh, right, it stops the damage prevention. Okay, well, 2 and 2, on to round 5. So lesson learned, against burn, you want Tarmogoyf, not Brawler. All right, round 5, on the draw, playing Domain Zoo. Reveal Gigantha. This hand has no creatures in it, but it does have interaction and counter spells. So if it draws basically any creature, it's fine. All right, keep. Wooded Foothills. All right, well, I guess we're playing turn 1 Nacatl, so let's go grab green and red. Yeah, and then we need blue and white after that. We don't have a Hallowed Fountain, right? Yeah, so no, I have to grab... Right, there's no Stomping Ground either, so it would have to be Temple Garden, and then this would fetch Steam Vents. All right, so fetch Temple Garden, play Nacatl. All right, opponent fetches Ketria Triumph, so it looks like we're playing Creativity, which means these Stubborn Denials should be very helpful. Opponent plays Dead Gone. Okay, never mind. We're playing Rhinos. All right, well, now we have to fetch a blue land. So we're going to go, yeah. So we need to be able to fetch Steam Vents. So play this, go. Steam Vents, that's the only untapped blue we can get, right? Yeah. Fetches in their own Steam Vents. Misty Rainforest. Passes back to us. All right. Untap. They're stopping us in upkeep, so it's Violent Outburst. No. All right, I need to fetch Zagoth as well, so let's play this and then pass. Can you believe out of all of the leagues we've played so far, this is the first time we're facing Rhinos? This is deck like number 27 or something, and it's the first time we're playing Rhinos. Ice our Temple Garden. Sure. They fetch. We get Stomping Ground, tapped. All right, now they can pay for Stub is the issue. Fetch, Island. All right, well, we're going to fetch now, I guess, Zagoth. If they have Violent Outburst, they have Violent Outburst. We can't force them to counter it anyway, so we may as well just fetch both now. Steam Vents. All right, well, they're not casting it, so Stub, and then there's no reason to shock this in, so play this tapped, go. So I have to like double Stubborn their Cascade spell is the issue. 4 mana. Play Subtlety. Okay. Well, fine by me. They play another land. I'm just going to bolt this Subtlety. Bolt. They're going to force this, eh? All right. That is perfectly fine. Force resolves. Here's Leyline Binding. All right. We do have 10 damage on Tribal Flames. All right. So at this point, I'm just going to put Gigantha in my hand and hold up Bolt. Pass back. Green, blue, colorless, shardless. Yeah. Crashing Footfalls. That's fine. I'm probably just bolting shardless. Yeah. All right. Bolt shardless. Draw land for Gigantha? No. Well, I have 3 copies of Tribal Flames, so I can tribal them to 11, then they attack me to 8, and then I'm dead next turn. So I have to kill one of the Rhinos. All right, pass. We just have not drawn any creatures besides 1 Nacatl. All right, another land. Tapped. And then they hit us with the Rhino. We go to 11. Back to us. Well, there's Dramoka's command, which is still not helping, so I guess we just Tribal Flames this Rhino. Alright, if they have Violent Outburst, we're pretty dead here. They did not. Play another land. Leyline Binding. We still can't do anything. Pass. Opponent cracks. I guess they're just deck thinning. No, they're not. Or it's just the last land in their deck that they're able to fetch. Another land. It looks like we're kind of in the same position. Alright, we can finally play Tarmogoyf. So let's play Tarmogoyf holding up double stubs. If I do that, though, then I have to go shields down on the Leyline Binding, but that's probably fine. Alright, Tarmogoyf. They just have... Alright, so they're going to cast it now before we can stub in response. No, Subtlety. Alright, and Subtlety means... Alright, so Subtlety resolves. I'll put it back on top of the deck, and then we will just Tribal Flames the Subtlety. Mystical Dispute. Okay. Well, pass the turn. So what's the plan next turn? It's just play Tarmogoyf again, hold up Leyline Binding plus stub. They fetch an island. Me get attacked for 3, go down to 8. Alright, so Goyf holding up both of these. Yeah, Goyf. Alright, this one resolved. Well, now we'll pass back to them. Alright, beginning of combat. Cast Leyline Binding. 3 mana. Force a negation. I guess I'm going to counter that back. If they cast Shardless or whatever afterwards, I'm okay. Alright, counter this. They have another counter, or they're outbursting in response. They're bouncing our Goyf back to our hand so that our counter can be paid for. Sure. Alright, so but now they're empty-handed, so now I can go Goyf and Dramoka's command, this Subtlety. Drawing a land would be really helpful. Alright, that was very helpful. So now Goyf here, then I'm going to go Dramoka's, counter, fight. Counter, here's my creature, here's your creature. So now we have a 6/7 Goyf with stub up and they're empty-handed. Alright, back to us. Combat. Attack with the 6/7 Goyf. They tick 6 down to 7, then we're going to cast Kavu, red, green. Still holding Stubborn up. Alright, pass. Well, we won that game. So, obviously, Flusterstorm comes in, Teferi comes in. Is this 1 or less? Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. So this can mop up all the Rhinos, so it's probably fine to have that. They do play Blood Moon, so I need an answer to Blood Moon. So what's bad? Bolt is pretty bad, for the most part. So cut Bolt. Wild Nacatl also doesn't trigger Stubborn Denial, doesn't turn on Stubborn Denial, and it doesn't block Rhinos. So then put in Tear Asunder instead of Natural State. Either one's fine. Alright, that is all probably fine. So I need to be very aware of fetching a basic Forest early, and basic Plains early. Alright, submit. Alright, game 2 on the draw against Rhinos. Reveal Giganta. We have a basic Plains and an Overgrown Tomb, and then we can't really do anything, so we need to mull this. Mulligan. Alright, this is fine. Keep this. Put back. We don't need double of these. So put back Overgrown Tomb. Done. Opponent plays Fiery Islet. Passes but to us. Alright, so let's play Zagoth Triome, and then next turn we're going to fetch basic Plains, I think. It depends. Alright, play the Zagoth Triome, go. Fetches with Wooded Foothills. Gets a basic Forest. So yeah, they're definitely setting up Blood Moon, it looks like. Suspends Footfalls. Well, so Blood Moon or Cascade punishes me a lot, but I just don't think there's any way around it, because the alternative is instead of playing Goyf, just playing a land and passing. That might be fine. I need to play this land so that I can fetch Plains if I have to. So play this land and then just go. The Goyf is only a 1/2 at the moment anyway. So yeah, we just hold up Stubborn for Cascade and we hold up Dramoka's for Blood Moon. They just didn't have a land. Alright, I'm not fetching this when I don't have to, so back to us. Well, there's Draco. So I can play Sacred Foundry, play Draco, and then Stubborn Denial is turned on. Alright, shock that in, cast... Oh, I have to go fetch the Plains first, right? Yeah, fetch the Plains. Then I go Draco, these two. Casts Subtlety, sure. Well, I'll just put Draco back on top in that case. Put it on top. Go. How many counters is this on? 3, I think? Or it's on 1 more, rather? How do I check that? Alright, it looks like they're just missing their 3rd land drop. Alright, so I'm going to play Draco again. Another Subtlety. Well, back to the top. So they get to unsuspend the thing this turn, so should I just run Goyf out? Oh, it has 2 counters left on it. Alright, so just play Temple Garden, tap. No, play it untapped so that I can Dramoka's Blood Moon if I need to. Pass the turn. Can I not actually can I not cast this if I don't have another target? Target player sacks, prevent damage, the next target instant or sorcery would deal. Put a +1 counter on target creature you control. Oh, so I can't actually cast this if I don't have a creature in play? Huh. In that case, I think I'm just going to run Goyf out. Alright, 1 more counter on Footfalls. They've exiled Force and Mystical Dispute to pitch the Subtleties. They still haven't drawn their third land. All right, so attack with Goyf. They take 2, go to 17. We replay this. I need to hold up these 2, and pass. So Footfalls goes on the stack, and I'm going to counter that, or try to. All right, that worked. We got it. Beat Rhinos. Finished 3-2 with Zoo. So, deck feels all right. I think it's still got the problem of where there's a lot of aggro decks that are just kind of burn but worse, and this feels like it. Especially not a fan of Wild Nacatl. This never came up, but it just feels awkward. It feels like, why is this even in here? I guess it is a way to, if you fetch a forest early, you can use this to blow up a Blood Moon. Sideboard also felt all right. Maybe there's some changes that could be made to it. Overall, it performed about as well as I thought it would.